Hi everybody, it's RPG Grandma, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about alignment. This is probably going to be a multi-part series because I don't want to do an hour and a half video info dump. Don't want to do that. I just want to give you little chunks of info for you to think about. Okay, so where does it come from? How did we get it? Why is it in D&D and other games? Why do some people hate it? Some people like it. Some people, they're neutral. Just, is it a game mechanic in that game? Okay, we use it. If it's not, oh, we don't. All right, so what is alignment? Well, it started under general lineup in the Chainmail rules before D&D. And what, in the end of the book, they got those fantasy rules for fantasy armies. And you build your armies. And they divided the monsters and the people, the little figurines, into groups. One of law, one that's neutral, and one that's chaos. So when you go to build your armies, and you want dwarves, you're going to be building a lawful army. So you're going to want critters that are going to fight together well. Okay? You won't be putting goblins and dwarves together. All right? When you go build your chaos army, again, say you want goblins, you're not going to be putting dwarves with them because the goblins are a force of chaos. And then the neutral guys, they can be persuaded to fight for either side. Some lean a little bit more towards one side or the other. So that's kind of the logic here, is for building your armies. But let's see what they actually say. So general lineup. It is impossible to draw a distinct line between good and evil fantastic figures. That's interesting. 3 categories are listed below as a general guide for the wargamer designing orders of battle involving fantastic creatures. Okay, so there you go. What's your lineup going to be? Team law, team chaos, team neutral, right? So law, that's hobbits, dwarves, gnomes, heroes, superheroes, ints, magic weapons, interesting, and wizards with a little asterisk. I'm not necessarily saying things in the order of the column, but we'll get to that. Why? Neutral, sprites, pixies, fairies, chimera. Then elves, which are underlined, rocks, which are underlined, and lycanthropes, which has a little star. So those are your were creatures. Chaos. We got goblins, kobolds, orcs, anti-heroes, wraiths and rights, ogres, true trolls, balrogs. I can't say it today. Dragons and basilisks. Then we have, with the little star, wizards and lycanthropes. All right, so star indicates the figure appears on 2 lists. So it gives you kind of an idea there. The were creatures, if they are neutral, they probably tend a little bit more towards the chaos, so it's going to maybe require a little more something from the army that wants to use them, if they're a lawful army. Wizards, well, oddly, there's no neutral wizards. They're either law or chaos. Now, the underlined figures, and giants were also neutral or chaos. So, okay, I think I got everybody. Okay, the underlined neutral figures have a slight predisposition for law. So that would be your elves and your rocks. So they're going to have a tendency to be more likely to fight for the forces of law. Neutral figures can be diced for to determine on which side they will fight, with ties meaning they remain neutral. So, a couple ways you could look at that. The DM could be in charge, or in this case, referee, I think is what they used, could be in charge of the neutral figures, and when they enter the battlefield, the two armies could, the players could be trying to recruit them, and you're going to roll dice for them. And you either get them on your side or you don't. So originally, alignment, what we've come to call alignment, was what the monsters would align with each other for. And right away out of the gate, they make a statement, it's kind of hard to tell who's good and evil between the two groups sometimes. And they're talking about, because they're looking at literature. They referenced in Chainmail, to give you guys an idea, appendix in, folks, you want to know this kind of stuff. I'll tell you which authors. The Epic Struggles, released by J.R.R. Tolkien, Robert E. Howard, and other fantasy writers. So they give you two authors' names to think about. And then they also go on to talk about, way down at the bottom of these rules, after we've gone through the monsters, let's see, where was it? Combination figures. I made this little note. And by figures, they don't just mean the figurines, they mean the characters. All right? There are certain natural, although rare, combinations. A good example of this is Moroc's anti-heroish Elric of Melenborn, who combines the attributes of the hero type with wizardry and wields a magic sword in balance. Whatever combinations you do decide to use, remember to be careful so as not to make anyone too powerful so as to destroy play balance. Oh, play balance. Here we are. Game mechanics. All right. So, from a war game, you've got a couple things here that clearly is happening in this little snapshot of time. From a war game perspective, you're building armies, but you're also using these characters from literature, and the armies are from literature, and the fantasies are from myth and literature. And so you're getting the beginning of thoughts on, what that is going to start to look like. And then, as we know, people began to role play the main characters. And, these battles, but, armies attacking a castle, fantasy army attacking the fantasy castle, became more. And they developed into role playing, and ultimately we got Dungeons and Dragons, which then sparked everybody's imagination to make more role playing games, variant rules, and so on. So the first thing you got to think about here is, why are certain things law and why are certain things chaos? And so we're going to keep looking into that as we go through what the original D&D had to say, and then iterations thereof, and even systems that expanded and have more forms of alignment than the 9 that we end up with in D&D, and games that got rid of it. So everybody have a great day, and we will do this in little sections so you don't fall asleep. Have a great day. Bye.